Leveraging judicial office for the benefit of friends leads to a dual system of justice, one for the well-connected and one for everyone else.
That quote, I mean, it should make your blood boil.
Right.
And it didn't come from some conspiracy theory board. It came from the man in charge of policing the judges in New York State.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are peeling back the curtain on two massive institutions that are supposed to serve the public, but, well, they seem to be serving themselves instead.
Yeah, we're looking at a stack of documents that really exposes the rot in the New York State court system, and we're pairing that with a study on how Hollywood elites, specifically in the movie, knocked up stereotype the working class.
So in New York, the script is, if you know the right people, the laws don't apply to you.
And in Hollywood, the script is, if you live in a poor neighborhood, you're basically just a joke.
And in both cases, the average citizen is the one paying the price.
So, yeah, let's get into it. We have a lot to cover.
Let's start with the gavel. We really need to talk about the absolute chaos happening in the New York judiciary.
Okay, so we're going to look at the case of Judge Nichelle Johnson. She was a judge in Mount Vernon City Court, that's in Westchester County.
And she recently got slapped with a censure, which is a formal reprimand, right?
It's a formal reprimand.
Yeah.
It's a permanent black mark on her record.
And for good reason, from what I read.
Oh, for good reason. The report on her behavior is shocking. There was this one incident in her courtroom where she just completely lost it on a prosecutor.
And it wasn't just a legal argument. She made it personal.
Very personal. She allegedly told the prosecutor, you are just a black judge sitting up here in a black court, and I don't have to listen to you.
Wow. In a courtroom.
Imagine that happening in a place of law.
Yeah.
It's unprofessional, it's chaotic. But honestly, the anger isn't even the worst part.
The corruption is.
Corruption is the worst part. The good old boy network.
Or, in this case, the good old girl network.
Exactly. The report details how she used her power to help out her friends. She had a Democratic pal, a former mayor, Clinton Young.
And Young was in some kind of trouble. He was facing a judgment of, what, about $750?
Yeah, $750. It's not $1 million, but that's what makes it so petty, you know?
Right.
Judge Johnson used her position to help him wiggle out of paying it. And she also intervened to fix a traffic ticket for a neighbor.
So if I get a ticket, I have to pay up. But if I happen to live next door to the judge, I can just make a phone call and it goes away.
That is the very definition of a two-tier justice system. Robert Tembeckjian, he's the administrator who investigates these judges, he put it perfectly. He said, when a judge does favors like this, it tells the public that the law isn't a fixed standard. It's a commodity.
Something you can trade if you have the right connections.
And Johnson is not the only one. Our stack here mentions a whole pattern of misconduct across the state. You have Judge Sherri Eisenpress in Rockland County.
She was the one presiding over cases involving attorneys and staff she had personal relationships with.
Yes. And she didn't disclose it, didn't tell anyone.
That's a massive conflict of interest.
Of course. You can't be impartial if you're friends with a lawyer.
And then you have the really extreme cases. I mean, the sources mention a town justice, Thomas F. Rathbun.
Oh, that guy. He was recommended for removal because he was posting images of Confederate flags and white pride content all over his Facebook page.
And what about Judge Aaron Gall?
Suspended after going on a racial rant at a party and threatening violence. These are the people deciding your fate in court.
When you see headlines like that, racism, favoritism, secret deals, it completely destroys your trust in the system.
If the referee is cheating, the game is rigged. But here's the thing. It's not just about a few bad apple judges. The entire structure of the New York court system is, well, it's a mess.
Inefficient, expensive, and confusing.
It really is. I was reading through the breakdown of the courts, and I felt like I needed a law degree just to figure out the org chart.
It's absurdly complex.
Here's a fact that tricks everyone. In New York State, the Supreme Court is not the highest court.
Wait, really? In every other state, supreme means the top, the final say.
Not in New York. The Supreme Court there is a trial court.
So it's the lowest level.
One of the lowest levels of superior courts, yeah. The highest court is actually called the Court of Appeals.
That just feels like it was designed to confuse regular people.
It's a bureaucracy that has just grown out of control. The state has 11 separate trial courts.
11.
You have family court, surrogates court, county court, city court. It is a sprawl. Former Chief Judge Judith Kaye called it a burden to administer.
And a burden on the taxpayer, I'm sure.
It costs over $500 million a year just to manage the administration of this thing.
But inside that sprawl, there's something even crazier. We have to talk about the town and village justices.
Oh, this is wild. Okay, so New York has nearly 1,200 town and village courts.
Okay.
And here is the kicker. The justices running them do not have to be lawyers.
You are kidding me. You can be a judge without a law degree.
Yes. You take a certification course, you pass a test, and suddenly you hold the gavel. You're deciding bail. You're sentencing people to jail for up to a year.
To us, it's like something from the 1800s, not 2026.
It's a holdover from the old days. But think about the consequences. You have people with zero legal training trying to interpret complex constitutional rights.
How do you end up with judges posting white pride memes? They're not professionals.
Exactly.
There's another structural issue here that drives people crazy, especially when it comes to crime. The sources mention bail reform.
There's a huge controversy, yeah. New York is one of only 4 states where judges are prohibited from considering public safety when they set bail.
Okay, let's break that down. If a judge looks at a suspect and thinks, this guy's dangerous, he's going to hurt someone if I let him out, the judge can't use that as a reason to keep him in jail.
Generally, no. Under the current law, bail is only to ensure the person comes back to court. It is not for preventive detention.
So the law ties the hands of the judges.
It ties the hands of the good judges, the ones who want to protect the community. Meanwhile, you've got the bad judges out there fixing tickets for their friends. It's a broken system.
And how do these judges even get their jobs? Because the sources say it's not exactly a shining example of democracy.
No, it's extremely opaque. For those Supreme Court justices we mentioned, you don't pick them in a normal primary. They're picked at these judicial nominating conventions.
Which sounds very fancy, but what is it really?
It's a back room. A back room filled with party bosses. The county party leaders decide who gets the nomination.
So the political machine just picks the judges?
Yes. And then the judges owe their jobs to the party leaders. And then, surprise, surprise, the well-connected politicians get favors in court.
It's a closed loop. The powerful protect the powerful.
That's it.
Okay, so that is the script in the New York courts. It's corrupt, it's confusing, and it's rigged. Now, I want to take that idea of scripts and fly across the country. Let's talk about Hollywood.
From the court of law to the court of public opinion.
Yeah. We are looking at a study called Knocked Down Again. It analyzes how the movie Knocked Up, that Seth Rogen comedy directed by Judd Apatow, treats East Los Angeles.
And this connects perfectly.
Yeah.
Because just like those judges are disconnected from the law, these Hollywood writers are, completely disconnected from reality.
So there's a scene in the movie. The main characters, Ben and Allison, are driving home with their new baby. Ben says he found a big apartment in East L.A., but then he makes a joke.
He says, the only thing is we have to decide if we're going to be Crips or Bloods before we get there.
And the audience laughs, because the assumption is East L.A. equals gangs.
Right. But here's the thing. That joke is just factually nonsense.
That's so.
The Crips and the Bloods are historically African-American gangs founded in South Los Angeles.
And East L.A.?
East L.A. is 97% Latino. It has been a Mexican-American community for almost a century.
So the writers just plugged in Crips and Bloods because it sounded scary and they were lazy.
It's pure laziness. The study calls this a geographic proxy. The writers use East L.A. as a shorthand for dangerous place with brown people.
Wow.
They don't care about the actual culture or the actual people who live there. They just want a punchline.
They treat these neighborhoods like stage sets for violence.
Exactly. And it's not just Knocked Up. The 40-Year-Old Virgin does it. Seinfeld did it. Remember Kramer?
Michael Richards, the meltdown he had at the comedy club.
Right. He went on that racist rant yelling about Mexicans and blacks being loud. It just shows how these Hollywood elites view the world. To them, these groups aren't distinct cultures. They're just the other. They're targets for mockery.
But the study argues this is more than just bad comedy. It creates what it calls a vicious cycle.
And this is the important part. This is what connects the movie screen to the street. The cycle creates a trap.
Okay, so how does it work?
So step 1 is segregation.
Yeah.
Government policies force people into specific areas. Step 2 is poverty that comes from that. Then step 3 is the media.
Hollywood?
Hollywood sees that poverty and mocks it. They turn it into entertainment.
And step 4?
Public perception. People watch the movie and think, oh, East L.A. is a war zone. It's hopeless. So what happens? The government stops investing. Businesses stay away. Discrimination gets justified. And the poverty gets worse.
So the movie isn't just reflecting a reality. It is actively helping to ruin it.
Exactly. And I really want to talk about that first step, the segregation. the government engineering. Because the isolation of East L.A. was done on purpose.
The sources mention Chavez Ravine.
Right. In the 1950s, Chavez Ravine was a thriving community. Families lived there. They had schools, churches.
And then the city stepped in.
They used eminent domain. That's when the government can just take your private property. They cleared everyone out. They promised public housing, but that never happened.
So what did they build instead?
Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
They bulldozed a neighborhood to build a baseball field.
Talk about priorities.
And then came the freeways. In the late 50s, the planners wanted to build these massive highways. But they didn't run them through wealthy neighborhoods like Beverly Hills.
No, of course not.
They ran them right through places like Boyle Heights.
They sliced the community in half?
A Golden State Freeway, the Pomona Freeway. These things are 6-lane concrete barriers. They just destroyed the local street grid. So if you owned a small business, suddenly all your customers are cut off by a highway.
It isolated the residents and just dumped smog all over them.
It is hard to build wealth when the government is paving over your front yard. And speaking of wealth, the banks played a huge role in this trap too.
We've heard about redlining. That's where banks wouldn't lend to certain areas. But the source talks about reverse redlining.
Yeah, this is even dirtier. So traditional redlining is, I refuse to lend to you.
Right.
Reverse redlining is, I'm going to specifically target you with the worst possible loan.
The subprime mortgage crisis.
Bingo. In the mid-2000s, predatory lenders saw what they called green in communities of color. They just flooded East L.A. with these toxic loans.
High interest rates, hidden fees, all that stuff.
In 2006, nearly 50% of Latinos financing a home purchase received a subprime loan. For white borrowers, it was less than 18%.
So when the market crashed in 2008, East L.A. got completely wiped out.
They were sold a lie. So first, the stadium displaces you. Then the freeway divides you. Then the banks exploit you.
And then Hollywood shows up and makes a joke about how you should join a gang.
It's punching down. And it's so hypocritical. I mean, think about where the director of Knocked Up, Judd Apatow, lives.
The Pacific Palisades.
Right. The median home price there is over $1 million.
Yeah.
In East L.A., the median income was around $35,000. It's very easy to mock the struggles of the working class from inside a gated community.
The sources mention the dropout rate in East L.A. is 56%. Only 4% of residents have a college degree.
Those are heavy statistics. But despite that struggle, the reality of East L.A. is not what you see in the movies.
So what is the real East L.A.?
It's families. The author of this study shares this really personal story. He talks about his grandmother living there. He remembers walking to the butcher shop on sawdust floors. He remembers buying fresh tomatoes on Whittier Boulevard.
He calls it the American dream, painted in red, white, and blue.
It's a community of people working incredibly hard. Manufacturing, construction, services. I mean, they're the backbone of the city. But hardworking family buys tomatoes, doesn't sell movie tickets.
Violence sells. Stereotypes sell.
And that lazy writing has real consequences.
It absolutely does.
When the only image of your community is a caricature, it changes how the world treats you. It changes how a police officer sees you. It changes how a banker looks at your loan application.
And maybe it changes how a judge sees you in court.
Exactly. We have come full circle, whether it's Judge Johnson in New York protecting her political cronies,
or a Hollywood director deciding that an entire community is just a punchline.
The mechanism is the same. The powerful create the script, and the regular people get stuck playing the part.
The judge protects the system, the movie industry protects its profits, and the cycle just continues.
It makes you question everything you hear, doesn't it?
It definitely does. So what's the takeaway here? What should we be thinking about after this deep dive?
I think we need to challenge our own mental proxies. We talked about how Hollywood uses zip codes as proxies for race.
Right.
When you hear the name of a certain neighborhood in your city, the bad part of town, what image pops into your head?
And where did that image come from? Did it come from your own experience, or did it come from a movie you saw?
Exactly. And when you hear about a court ruling, do you just assume justice was served? Or do you wonder if maybe someone made a phone call to a Democratic pal?
We have to stop accepting the script. We have to look at the reality.
Don't let them tell you what to think. Look at the facts.
That is a lot to chew on. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.